Hello, good evening. I would have started a couple minutes ago, but literally the second I had clicked the go live button, Kara popped in with a cheeseburger for me. So I had to eat a McDonald's cheeseburger in like 5 seconds flat. It's fine, everything is fine. It's fine. Good evening. Hello, Barris. How are you? Yeah, so Tuesday's a strange day. I kind of do whatever on Tuesdays. And I have a ton of fabric I need to cut to prep for the quilt I work on Sundays. So I'm gonna just cut a bunch of fabric. Hello. Thank you. Yay, caffeinated Moogle mail. That's my favorite.
As opposed to caffeinated Moogle, which nobody is happy with.
Yeah, no, that's bad. No coffee biscuits for the Moogle. That sounds incredibly dangerous. Okay. So I actually have 2 packs of this fabric. I mean, I'm not sure they need to be sedated. I just definitely don't want to see them caffeinated. We'll put it that way. Okay, but real question. Which would be worse, a caffeinated Moogle or a caffeinated Namazu? I don't think I want either one. Come on. Okay, those 2 are the same. So with a rotary cutter, I can usually do about 2 layers of fabric at once. Theoretically, you can do more. Oh, excuse me. Pardon. I just find that it's fairly inaccurate if you try to do more than about 2 or 3, because the different layers will tend to slip against each other, and then your edges will be out of whack. Yeah, exactly. Namazu are more actively destructive. But then again, I think Moogles have more magic. Just like natively. This might not work. I might need a stiffer thing under my board. And or I do this one at a time. Yeah, I might have to do it one at a time. Because this is bending in the middle, which it does not normally do if I'm on a table. Kara, do you have me turned on yet? I have a piece of cardboard that's right outside my door. So it's actually, it's the pattern is here. That's all hexagons. So actually I have one of the blocks here too. So this is usually what I'm working on during my Sunday streams. My Sundays are entirely patchwork. So each of these hexagons comes from a 2.5-inch square, which is what I'll be cutting these into, just to sort of prep for the next however many blocks. But yeah, so this is a belated wedding present for my brother and sister-in-law that I'm working on. So yeah, I'm just kind of prepping all the squares so you can see on the back there. All the edges are folded in from a 2.5-inch square. Okay, I also need my larger ruler. Yeah, alright, hang on. Brief detour. I will be right back. I'm going to grab a bigger piece of cardboard and I have a bigger square that will actually reach all the way across instead of only most of the way across. BRB. Okay, take two. Giant piece of cardboard. Probably stiffer than the plastic tote lid I was using. Hopefully. Come here. Come here. I mean, I could also just do this on the table, but that necessitates redoing my camera. And it's easier just to do it on my lap. There we go, bigger template. Or ruler. Yeah, that's much better. And then to the bottom bit. Well, the horizontal bit. Ta-da! I love these pre-cut 5-inch, they're called charm packs, because they cut perfectly into the 2.5-inch squares I need. So it's very convenient. It only works with certain types of quilts though, because, well, A, not every quilt requires 2.5-inch squares, and B, a lot of quilt patterns will require more than just, you know, a little bit of fabric, because these are all, like this is a bunch of different fabrics in the same line, so I'll only get maybe 1 or 2 pieces of the same fabric, which is why I have 2 of them. Yep. So, well, and of course the rest of my pieces are all out of reach. I have, well, you can see on the edge of these here. So the way that it works is, can I find a good example? So like here, if you look at this hexagon, it's still got the basting thread in it. So the way that I form the hexagon is there's actually a paper piece here. So that blue is actually paper that I've cut into a hexagon. And then I fold the edge of the fabric around the paper so that it keeps the shape, and do the really large basting stitches just to hold it together. And then when I've got my little pile of hexagons, I start sewing them together along the edges. And then once it's been secured on all 6 sides, then all of the edges are enclosed. They're not going to fray anymore. So then I'll flip it over and take the papers out. So like these ones here in the middle, none of them have the papers in it anymore because they're all secured. So I've snipped the basting threads and pulled the papers out of them. But yeah, it's I find it extremely enjoyable. It's hand sewing and English paper piecing is one of those things where some quilters find it incredibly tedious. I find it incredibly relaxing. It is very time consuming, but what you get at the end is extremely satisfying. Probably need a sharper blade on this too, but that's okay. That's a future problem. So I think I've been on this blade for a while. Yeah. Good evening, Kate. How are you? Hopefully it's a little bit cooler over there, maybe? The weather today is really nice here. Hey, Merlin. Good evening. I am just prepping, prepping 2.5-inch squares for the hexagon quilt. Aww. Kite, I'm so glad. If you lived closer, I would cuddle you lots. Like, literally, honestly. Come visit. There will be hugs. But yeah, no, this is fabric for the Sunday quilt. I'm just prepping a bunch of squares for it because I'm too lazy to do anything else at the moment. I'm in that weird thing where I'm too lazy to do much, but also don't want to cancel stream, but like don't want to put the effort into game or anything. So it was either going to be this or crochet, and I actually need to get some of this done. So here we are. Because the more I can prep, the less I have to do cutting later. Play BGA boards? I mean, I can do that too. I think I've got quite a number. Create boards until there is always a board to play. That's an interesting idea. I definitely didn't do that at some point last week while I was super bored. Just like 8 games of Can't Stop Express and Next Station London all at the same time. New game? We need a new game? New game for me to play on stream or new game to play on Board Game Arena? Because I have suggestions for both of those things. At some point, possibly next week, I will finish, or I will continue the Hamtaro game. I've just been too wiped on Tuesdays to pull it up and do it. But I do want to finish Hamster Game. Board Game Arena? Ooh. Oh yeah, we did finish the Azul game. Well, do you want to play more Azul, or do you want to play something new? And it would depend on if Kara is willing to be roped in. Or if Kara wishes to be roped in. I don't know that I've ever played Forbidden Island. Or if I have, it's been a really, really, really long time. I've definitely never played it on Board Game Arena. I think I might have played it maybe once IRL, but that was like ages ago. There's a pin? Ooh, I'll have to look at the pin. I think I saw that pin and then didn't pay attention to it. Oh, a tile game. I do like those. I'm not particularly good at them, but I do enjoy them. I don't think I've ever won a game of Carcassonne in my life. But I keep playing. Good news, we all win or we all lose. I mean, yeah. My phone did a buzz. Oh, I think that was Kara. We're good. Miss 100. I miss 100, 100% of the games you play against Theos. I mean, yeah. I feel that way sometimes about Kuma and buttons. I do like that we just have a permanent game of buttons now. I'm just going to keep hitting the rematch button until one of you denies me. Oh, is that the same fabric again? I think it is. Yeah, that's definitely another piece of the same fabric. Hooray. I'll take it. Or is it a slightly different background color? I think it might be a very pale blue background as opposed to a white background. Come here, fabric. No, it looks pretty much the same. Cool. I'll take it. Note to self, change out my rotary blade. Oh, yeah, it's definitely dull because I just accidentally pressed my finger against the blade and it did nothing. I've got more blades in my drawer. I just have to remember to switch it out. It is still cutting, which is the important thing. I'm just having to press down harder than I should. Holding the blade on your pizza cutter? Grinding wheel? Question mark? That seems like it could become a shop safety issue. Okay, short of building yourself a grindstone. I don't know. Borrow a grindstone? Rent a grindstone. I'm trying to come up with something clever. And it is just not appearing to me. That's 2.5, right? Yes, that's 2.5. Oh, building yourself a grindstone is on the to-do list. Excellent. Ooh. That would be fun. See, I would love to have like a real spinning wheel and like a loom and like an actual long arm quilting machine. The problem is all of those are incredibly large pieces of equipment, and I do not have the space for any of them. I am intrigued by that little tabletop loom that Yalk posted in the Cursed Discord. I might have to pick one of those up myself just to see how it does. I feel like I would love to have a proper spinning wheel. Because I like spinning. I actually know how to spin yarn, and I have a hand spindle. But using a hand spindle is somewhat labor intensive and like focus intensive. Not that a spinning wheel isn't. You definitely have to focus to properly use a spinning wheel, but it wouldn't be as bad. Ooh, potential inherited spinning wheel? That's legitimately exciting. The other problem is if I do spinning, I also want to be able to dye the resulting yarn. And the only place I have to do dye work is our kitchen. And dyeing actual sheep's wool, let's just say it's an interesting scent and not necessarily one that Jade and Kara want in the kitchen. So I haven't dyed much of anything in quite a long while because I am courteous of the fact that I share space with other people that do not like the smell of cooking wool. I mean, not that I like the smell of cooking wool, but stained glass is also cool. That's another one of those that I would love to do, like mosaic work and like actual glass mosaic as like an art form. But again, it requires quite a bit of space that I do not have. I'm very, very happy I have like a full sewing room now. But between my crafting table and the shelves of fabric and the totes of yarn and my desk, it is now fairly full as far as furniture and equipment goes. Oh, I would love to come visit. It's on the to-do list at some point. European vacation is definitely on our to-do list at some point. Oh, more of this fabric too. Neato. Oh, good, I've got a lot of that fabric. I might actually have enough to do a full outer star of it, which is excellent. The best part about cutting these for a hexagon quilt is it doesn't have to be super precision. If the fabric like shifts and it cuts a little wonky, it's fine because it's gonna get folded around a hexagon anyhow. Okay, so there's more cherry fabric. Aw, boo. But thank you for the website. I will definitely check that out. Probably a little bit far for me to commute to. But I love I love looking at pictures of people's workshops and people's setups. I can just live vicariously. It's the same reason I love looking at pictures of quilt shops. Hey, welcome home, Merlin. You should eat a thing. Everybody should eat a thing if they have not. Because I know it's dinner time for, I think, all of us except Kite. Charity teaching workshop for teaching ladies how to make stuff. Oh, that's so cool. Oh yes, and hydrate as well. No, that's such a cool, project, Kite. Also, Swiss Chalet is the bomb. Well, not the bomb, but it is definitely the higher tier of fast food. I love their pierogies, weirdly. It's actually usually what I get because I'm not a huge fan of fried chicken. But I love their pierogies. I'll just get a double portion of them and eat those. Ah. That certainly is a I almost said ecological divide, which I suppose in certain environments it could be. What word am I looking for? Theological? No, not quite. Brain not work. Hey Muja, good evening. I am just prepping squares to eventually become hexagons. Philosophical, yes, thank you, Varys. That's the word I was looking for. Looking for words. Varys has found the word for me. The more prep I do now, the less prep I have to do later. So what the heck, I'll just cut a bunch of fabric. Oh, dang! That's cool as heck, Kite. Also, hey, Rubik. Good morning. Look, I remembered time zones are a thing. For some of us. How big is it going to be? I haven't fully decided yet. I'm gonna be aiming for roughly a queen size, because I think that's what, or I presume that's what their bed is. Big enough to cuddle into. Once I actually finish this block, I'm gonna lay them all out on the floor and see how big it is, because I've got a fair amount of blocks now. I just haven't actually laid them out to conceptually know how big it already is. I've just kind of been making the blocks. So I'll figure out how big it is now and then figure out how big I want it to be. And then kind of go from there. I mean, you joke, Kate, but I have seen large quilts. It's really hard to have a quilt that's too big. It's very easy to have a quilt that's too small. Unless you're deliberately going for a lap quilt, you don't really want your toes poking out from under it. And also, my brother is 6'4". He tall. But I'm intending this to be more of like a couch snuggle quilt than it is a bed quilt. So aiming for somewhere around a full size queen size is about right. Alright, so are these not matching up because I've already pulled the blueberry out of this one, or because I've already pulled the plaid out of this one? Nope, there's the plaid, so I've already pulled the blueberry out of this one. Yep. I've rated these already for some of the fabrics. Hopefully everyone's having a fairly good day so far. Mine's just been kind of blah. I actually called out of work today with a headache bordering on migraine, so I ended up just kind of flopped playing Fossil Hunter and watching YouTube documentaries all day. So it's like weird in the sense I feel much better now, but I haven't really done anything all day. Oh no! Luffy, no! Does Luffy like to eat ice cubes? My parents' dog loves just like crunching ice cubes. Especially when it's hot. Naps are good. I probably should have taken a nap, considering how zoned out I've been all day, and I just didn't really get around to it. I wonder if it's the weather. Because you guys got the same storms that we did last night, eh, Varys? And I always feel kind of off after a pressure wave goes through. So maybe that's it. Yeah, Luffy baby, stay inside and eat an ice cube. Oh my gosh, Amari, that's adorable. I have heard of cats that like ice cubes before. That doesn't surprise me, but that is precious. It is notably sleepier over in Europe. It's also, like, noticeably more midnight over in Europe right now, Kite. Or unless you meant in general. Oh yeah, I guess the thunderstorms did come through on Sunday, didn't they? Yeah, I always tend to feel a bit off, either during or just after really big pressure waves. Oh, oh, Luffy, that's precious. We would drop them in my parents' dog's water bowl too, but she didn't like to grab them out of the water bowl, like, with her mouth. She would actually reach in with her paw like a cat and, like, drag the ice cube out of the water bowl onto the floor and then grab it up off the floor. She was a strange little beast. Oh yeah, you've mentioned before, Musha. I don't usually get them bad enough that I think I would need a piercing. It's just kind of every once in a while. It usually causes more sinus problems for me than it does actual headaches. I'm hoping actually getting my teeth out at some point will fix a lot of that. Eventually. My job switch was slightly poorly timed in the sense that I do not have dental insurance for the next 6 months. So I'm just gonna kind of chill with my teeth and wait until my insurance kicks in. Yeah, no, death to teeth. I hate dentists and teeth issues, which is why I've put this off as long as I have. They should have come out several years ago, and I had just kept putting it off. First because pandemic, and then just because dentist. Hey, Randus. No, literally, there probably will never be enough. There will always be more hexagons to make. Once I finish this quilt, there will be a new quilt. There will always be hexagons. Honestly, the next tattoo I get is probably going to be hexagon related. I should come up with a design for that at some point. Oh no, teeth talk? Of course there's teeth talk. Talk about how terrible teeth are. Awful, horrible, terrible teeth. Why do we even have these teeth? Hexagons are bestigons. Absolutely. I'm gonna try to do a more even split on Tuesdays between crafty streams and gamey streams. Because I know there's some of y'all that can't make my Sunday streams, but would enjoy watching crafty things. So I will try to do that more often. Oh, there's more yellow. This is the same yellow. I mean, I already have one quilting related tattoo. What's one more? Unfortunately, that's the one I cannot show y'all, at least not at the moment, because it's on my back. Ooh. That's some not encouraging teeth genetics there, Randus. I had a coworker like that too, where her teeth are just the worst. Like, legitimately the worst. And she's had quite a few of them out, and she's not any older than I am. Surprisingly still have... Well, that's good. I'm very glad of that. And I wish you luck in keeping them. I long for the day that humanity evolves past teeth. Although, at least we're not horses. From what I know, horses just have terrible teeth in general. The devil teeth are evil. I'm so happy yours are finally gone, Muja. Oh, so I have a fun tooth story. And by fun, I mean slightly horrifying. So when I was a kid, like, I think I've told at least part of this on stream before. When I was like 12 or 13, I had lost all of my bottom baby teeth, and I had lost like my top eye teeth and like the canines and the ones to either side, but I hadn't lost my two front teeth. And my mom was like, okay, that's strange. The two front teeth are usually the first ones to go. We should get this checked out. So she took me to the dentist. Dentist did x-rays. And I had like 4 teeth up in the roof of my mouth that were all just kind of like jammed together. So none of them, like the two front ones couldn't descend and push out the baby teeth like they were supposed to. So whatever, I got surgery at the ripe old age of 12, got the extra ones taken out, whatever. I do remember that night going home after surgery with stitches in the roof of my mouth, which was absolutely miserable. And I remember putting the teeth under my pillow because the tooth fairy gave me $20 for them, for everything that I had gone through to get them out. And then fast forward like 20 years, and a couple of years ago, I was down visiting my parents and helping to like clean shit out of my room. Hey, Gladness. Because of course when I moved up to Canada, like I had packed stuff, but like I still had a ton of stuff that was at my parents' place. So I had gone down to visit for my sister's wedding, and my mom and I were spending some time just going through my room to be like, okay, well, how much of this do you want to keep? Like, they were willing to store stuff for me. They just wanted to know, okay, can we get rid of some of this shit? And a lot of it we could, because I had just, you know, left this in a hurry, not in a hurry, but I had just kind of left everything, and a lot of it was just kind of junk. And so we're cleaning out my, like my china cabinet, where I had like, you know, my American Girl doll and a little vase of dried roses that came from my grandparents' caskets, and like little art projects that I had made throughout school and that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff a teenager puts in a china cabinet. And as we're digging through the back of it, I come across this little, like, manila envelope. It's just like a little folded envelope with the top pasted down. And I'm like, Mom, what's this? And she's like, I don't know. Like, what? It's your room. It's your china cabinet. What did, you're the one that would know what it is. And I'm like, I don't remember what this is. So I flipped open the envelope, turned it over, and dumped out my teeth into my hand. I don't know if I kept them. I don't know if my parents decided to keep them. But there were teeth. They were my teeth. I knew immediately what they were. That they were the teeth from the surgery. And I was just like, why did we keep these, Mom? And Mom was like, I don't know. Yeah, $20 worth of teeth. So yeah, that was mildly horrifying when I wasn't expecting it. Put them back under the pillow. That's not a bad idea. I think we just kind of threw them out because we were both just like, oh, what the hell? Why? Why this? Well, did you put them under your pillow for the tooth fairy, Muja? She doesn't know to come get them if you don't put them under your pillow. Oh, broken teeth are the worst. I'm glad they were able to, like, repair it, patch it, what have you. I've never broken one, thankfully. Oh, you didn't get to keep them? Ah, boo. Should have told the dentist you wanted to keep them just to see what he said. Just to see the look on his face. Run a fishing line through them for a necklace with a hell of a story. Oh god. Oh, my necklace? Yeah, thanks. It's my teeth. Is it more horrifying to make a necklace of your own teeth or a necklace of somebody else's teeth? That's my question. Both are horrifying, but in different ways. I really like this fabric. Oh, yeah, that's entirely possible as well, Randus. I wouldn't know. I was passed out for mine. Thank God. Because I had all 4 of mine coming out at the same time. And 2 of them were through the gum, so they just had to be pulled, but then the other 2 were impacted, so. And considering I hate dentists anyway, I asked them if they would please knock me the fuck out, and they obliged. Yep. Absolutely no interest in being conscious. Please no. I was conscious the first time around for the surgery when I was 12, and that was, like, I contend to this day that that's what screwed me up for dentists. That was not fun. Like, they gave me laughing gas, so, like, at the time I didn't care and I was high as hell. But, like, I remember the entire surgery. It was not great. And, like, the fact that they had me completely numbed, but it doesn't really numb, like, it numbs your tongue, but it doesn't really, or at least whatever they gave me didn't really numb my taste buds. So I spent the whole time just tasting blood and chemicals. It was awful. And yeah, having stitches in the roof of your mouth is not great. Especially not when you're like 12. Oh, fun! That's great, Randus. I would have simply killed the dentist. I mean, my fun wisdom teeth story is that mine started coming in while I was living in Japan, and one of them started coming in pieces. Like it came through already. I don't know that it was rotten because it didn't hurt, but it was definitely already dead, and I just had sharp pieces coming off of it for 4 months, and I couldn't do anything about it because I was in Japan. I just kind of had to live with it until I got back. Ooh. Ooh, Rubik, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah, I would not want to be conscious. I barely like being conscious for fillings. Yeah, I think it's pretty normal in North America that they'll sedate you for wisdom teeth. Just because unless it's like a really quick clean pull, because there's so much with wisdom teeth that, like, not that can go wrong, but like the way that I understand it is with wisdom teeth, a lot of the time, even if you have x-rays, only under 21? Interesting. But from my understanding, wisdom teeth are one of those things where even if you have x-rays and you kind of know what you're doing, it's very easy to get in there and be like, oh, well, this is different than what I expected. Okay. Above 21, they avoid it at all costs? Interesting. Oh god, Randus. Oh, fun times. Is that 2.5? Yes, that's 2.5. Maybe. That would make sense. Cost of sedatives, and maybe there's probably like a thing where the older you are, the more likely you are to have complications or to have the sedation trigger something else medically, whereas younger kids are bounce easier. Something along those lines, I'm sure. Yeah, the older you are, the more likely sedation has complications. Yeah, I think I remember hearing that somewhere. Makes sense. Nope, these are lemons. That is different. Oh, Stretch, reach the keyboard. Oh, Lucia is telling us to hydrate, and Rubik is telling us to stretch. So I will do both of those things. And cookies for the dragon. How often am I off by one? As far as like off by a notch on my cutting thing, or... Because that does happen. I'll do the cut, and I'm like, those don't look even. Oh, that stretch feels good. Thank you. Yeah, it does happen. It's a little bit harder to do with these, because it's half and half. And that's part of why I use this particular ruler, because the red is 2.5. You've got the black lines are the straight scale, whereas the red lines are with seam allowance. So seam allowance is typically 1/4 inch on all sides of the fabric. So if my finished thing is going to be a 2-inch square, I'll need 1/4 seam allowance on each side, which comes out to 2.5. So that's why the red lines on here are marked with an extra 1/2 inch. And since I'm cutting 2.5 inch squares, if I have doubts, I can just line it up against the red. That's also why if you look at the absolute scale, it's 6 and then an extra 1/2 inch, because seam allowance. Oh, also a hydrate. Yeah, I would also prefer to never be conscious. The other thing that's good about this template, it's probably really hard to see on the camera, but there actually are 1/8 of an inch marks as well that are white. Let's see if I can actually get it to focus. Oh, yeah, you can kind of see them. So there's little 1/8 inch marks that are white, and then the 1/4 and 1/2 inch ones are the black in between. So yeah, it's just a matter of not going too fast and actually visually checking to see that it looks right before I make the cut. So like here I'm lining up against that red line because I know that's 2.5 from this edge. And then same thing when I drop it down here, I line up against the red line there for 2.5, and we're good. But yeah, if I'm tired or I'm going too fast, I've definitely miscut them before. It happens. At that point, I just kind of sigh, and that particular piece goes into my scrap bin. I waste very, very little. And if all else fails, it will go into, I have like a jar of tiny scraps that I use when I make cat toys for Sasha. I'll stuff them with thread scraps or fabric scraps instead of stuffing them with plastic polyfill. Because it's better for the environment and it's better for her if she manages to rip it open or something. Then we don't have to worry about her eating plastic polyfill. Or talking streaming. Yeah, that too. To be fair, I don't think I've miscut anything yet. I've definitely sewed some things wrong and had to rip a few seams. But I don't think I've miscut anything yet. Unless you've noticed something I haven't. That would require paying attention to this monitor and not the other monitor. Fair enough. You mean you're not scrutinizing my every move? How dare you? Are you really engaging if you're not watching? The answer is yes. Chill streaming is meant to be put on in the background while you do other shit. I'm here to work, you're here to work. That's all that matters. Get more blue plaid. Interesting. But SJ, you might be asking, why do you bother to flip the guard closed on your rotary cutter every single time you put it down if you're just going to be picking it up again in a second? Well, friends, no, I have never cut myself on a rotary cutter. I almost have before, but I have not. The real reason is because it's just habit for me to flip guards closed and blades closed. Because I worked on a loading dock for 7 years. Yeah, so I don't stab myself. Let's just say some of my coworkers were really, really bad about just setting down box cutters with the blades out. I have yelled at multiple people so many times for that. So yeah, it's habit. It's just muscle memory at this point to just flick the guard closed. Because I know box cutter safety. Also, I was health and safety officer at work, so yeah, it's just kind of ingrained habit. Yeah, no, same. Like, I could be the only one around, and I would still be flicking my cutter closed, even if I was setting it down for 10 seconds. Because it only takes 1 second of inattention to grab it by the wrong end while the blade is still out. Fun fact, Kara is now the health and safety officer at that workplace now that I've left. And I told her specifically, make sure you stay on top of the logistics department because they will leave their blades out because they're all dumbasses. At least when it comes to blade safety. I mean, if it's only you. Look, I'm not going to judge what people do when they're by themselves. That's between you and yourself. It's when you start leaving them where other people could potentially put a hand down on them that I start having problems. And that's what my team would do, is they would just set it down, blade still fully out, and walk away. I would come in every morning and just find like 3 or 4 of them sitting around on the tables with the blades out. Hey, that's a good instinct to have. I also used to carry my knife around in my back pocket all the time. So it became a habit to just always flick the blade closed because otherwise I'd be stabbing myself in the butt. Or my hand when I reached back to get it again. Because it was the kind of workplace where you found a good knife, you kept a hold of that knife. It wasn't exactly my knife, but I definitely hid it between shifts so that nobody else picked it up, because it was like the only one with a good blade and that still had a smooth closing mechanism. In fact, for a while, I did just straight up buy my own knife with my own money that I carried around in my back pocket because I got so tired of the shitty ones we had. And then my boss actually bought us decent ones, which was nice. Ooh, story time. In architecture class in high school, we were making styrofoam models of the buildings we designed. Watched a kid almost cut his finger off with an X-Acto knife. Well, no guard. Smash cut to 2 weeks later, the teacher was the only one allowed to use X-Acto knives in class. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds exactly like high school art/shop classes. Oh good, I'm glad I'm not the only one that hid the good knives for my own personal use. I used to stash them under the returns desk where nobody would think to look. Or I'd like drop it behind the returns register and then artfully pile pads of Post-it notes on top of it. It's so funny because now I'm working in an office, right? And literally my first day working in the new office, we go down to, like, my manager's showing me, like, where the mailroom and stuff is. And the guy that mans the mailroom is like, oh, wait, we've got boxes for you. And comes and grabs them and brings them to us. And I'm like, so I take them back to my office and I'm like, hey, Mary, do we have, like, a box cutter anywhere? And she's like, no, it's really, really rare that we ever get boxes. Just use scissors. And I'm sitting here going, but, box cutter. But I want my box cutter. Yeah, exactly. I was like, but can I get a box cutter? And she's like, no, it's fine. You'll never have to open a box again. Like, just use scissors. And I'm like, but But box cutter! Oh yeah, no, scissors are awful. I did open it with scissors because I didn't really have a choice, but I'm really tempted to just take a box cutter in and keep it in my desk. Just in case. I have one around somewhere. And even if I can't find it, they're cheap at Home Depot. Just so that I have one. So the boxes were actually equipment that we were getting replaced. So then we had to box up the old equipment to send back. And so I go down to the mailroom to ask them, like, hey, should I bring the stuff here? Do you want me to call in the pickup myself? And the guy in the mailroom was like, oh yeah, just are they big? Like, do you want me to get a cart and come get them? And I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll bring them down. And it was like 5 boxes, but they were fairly small boxes, so I just kind of stacked them on top of each other and carried them down to the mailroom. And Robert turned around, he's like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, they're not heavy. And he was still kind of staring at me, and I'm like, oh, I used to work in a mailroom. And he was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I promise, I might look like an office worker now, but I know how to lift stuff, I'm fine. Oh, I hate the auto return blades. Those are a pain in the butt. You can't... Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for a while, we had... So what prompted me to actually buy my own box cutter for a while is that the ones that we had were the ones that were literally just a square razor blade in like one of those wrapped metal casings that you would slide back and forth to expose the razor blade. Literally just a razor blade. And I was like, boss, please, seriously. So then after that, he got us really nice ones. Oh, is that what you use, Musha? I mean, I guess they're cheap. I dislike them. I like the ones, like the ones that we had were the solid metal ones with the angled blade at the end, and they actually had like the click button where you had to click it down and then slide it and then release it to pull the blade in and out. I like those. Why not cut more than one at a time? A, because this blade is dull. If I had a sharper blade, I probably could. B, because I'm not cutting on a table, I'm cutting on a piece of cardboard with my cutting mat over it. It flexes more than I'm used to. So I was trying to cut 2, and it was flexing enough that it wasn't cutting through the second one. With these, I probably could cut more than one at a time, but the other consideration is that if you're trying to precision cut, and the more layers you stack up, the more that they're going to slide against each other. So if you get 3 or 4 stacked up and try to cut it, there's potential that they'll slide, and then the ones lower down won't be the right shape if you need it to be really, really precise. Oh yeah, that's fair, Muja. We were mostly just opening taped boxes. So those were nice because I liked having the bit of a longer angled blade that I could slip between the box lips and just slide the tape. But yeah, no, they probably would not handle furniture boxes well. You are correct. Ah, See, we were lucky in that we had a big-ass cardboard baler, so all we had to do was flatten the boxes most of the time. Occasionally we would get ones that were too big that we had to break down. But most of the time we could just flatten our boxes and toss them in the baler. Fire. Yeah, that's true. Fire does break down cardboard really quick. Not exactly an eco-friendly method, though. Like, recycling is better when you can. But fire is a good second choice. You are correct. No, that's 3 inches. See, this is why I have my red lines. Alright. Excellent. Fire is pretty. But carbon emissions. No worries, I have more fabric to cut, friends. Let me just move all these out of the way. Oops, sorry. Did not mean to smack the microphone there. Next I have jelly roll fabric, which is pre-stripped for me, which is nice. Let's see, it'd be probably easier to move from this end. Considering I'm right-handed. Cut my selvage off the ends. Hey, Merlin. Fire. Yeah, I know. Fire's usually your thing. Or at least fire's usually your chat's thing. I don't know why we're all so pyro. Why would anyone want to be right-handed? I know. Didn't exactly get a choice. At least not one that I ever remember. It's just so normal. It's true. Dinner is good. What was dinner? Also, yes, you should work on things. But only if you're feeling it. Become ambidextrous. Worthy goal. Not one I'm going to pursue while I'm working with a blade. if it's all the same to you. Pursue ambidexterity when it is not going to harm yourself or others. Ooh, chili dogs. Yummy. Can verify being left-handed is real easy. Oh, dang. I mean, kids are flexible like that. That doesn't really surprise me that she was able to just figure out the other hand when she didn't when she didn't really have a choice. Share chili dogs. I mean, she probably would. You'd just have a bit of a drive to go pick them up. Yeah, I'll need to iron that one. That's a future problem. Also, this camera's a bit funky. I swear all these lines are straight. I know. It seems weird for me. Insert inevitable nothing is ever straight joke here. No problems in the potential room for later improvements. Seems right. Everything is fine. Ooh, good luck, Merlin. That definitely seems way more suited to you. Yes, good luck and good vibes. Oh, dang. I mean, that's a good endorsement. Also, if you're an internal candidate, hopefully it means you'll have a better shot at it. Or be given, like, priority consideration or whatever. Yeah, but it never hurts to apply. Like, that's what I kept telling myself while I was applying for jobs. Like, if you don't apply, you'll definitely not get it. So it never hurts. Like, yeah, it sucks to get your hopes up if it's not gonna happen, but you should still definitely apply. So yeah, fingers crossed for you. I mean, it might. I mean, I am still lining up against it. My hand can only go over so far. I am double jointed in many of my joints, but the elbow is actually not one of them. Yep, I can essentially dislocate my shoulder on will, and then, what was this? All these knuckles and my thumb and my wrist are all double jointed, which I will not show on camera because I know it freaks some people out. But yeah, my hands are a bit messed up. also my hips. I don't know that I'm quite double jointed in my hips. I just know that I tend to hyperextend them if I'm not careful. I'm not sure hyperextend is the right word when it's applied to hips. But I move wrong and my hip goes out of joint is the thing that happens. Which is fun. Because, yay, ligament issues. My shoulders are definitely the worst off, though. Like, my shoulders pop in and out all the time. Slipping your hip. Yeah, that sounds right. I'm sure there's a more scientific word for it. But yeah, that thing. Yup. Yeah, that makes sense, Misha. But yeah, I feel that, Barris. But it's not even, like, good flexibility. Like, trying to stretch my shoulders. They just... Like, I can't stretch them because... Like, if Kara and I are doing the same stretch, she'll, like, move her shoulder a certain way and be like, oh, yeah, that feels so good. And I'll move it even further and be like, I feel nothing. And I physically cannot move it farther because bones. My ligaments are just already so hyper stretchy that I can't really stretch them anymore, which is kind of a problem sometimes. Yep, me too. There's already so much stretch. Oh yeah, and like I can twist my hands up behind myself in ways that normal people really can't. It is nice to be able to scratch every inch of my own back, though. Ah, you've got the ankle fun, too. Yeah, no, the way that I figured out I was double jointed in my thumbs is because my teacher, when I was in kindergarten and learning to write, my teacher freaked out because she thought I had hurt myself. Because the way that I was just naturally holding my pencil is I was holding my pencil with my thumb popped out of joint. And she thought that I had hurt myself. And I was like, no, I'm fine. This is normal. Oh, the knee. Dang. Yep, I can do that too, Barris. I can do that on both of my thumbs, actually. And again, for the longest time, I didn't realize that that was weird. I just always did it. And then, again, I won't do it on camera, but this joint here, whereas most people can bend their fingers back about that far, I can bend mine back 90 degrees with, like, no pain at all. In fact, I'm going to do so because... Well, I mean, you can hear the crickle cracks. The other fun bit of being double jointed. Also, I don't know that I've ever asked, do you prefer to be called Varys, or do you prefer to go by Rin? Or do you not have a preference? I've kind of just been calling you Varys out of habit, but... Ew, popcorn! Fun fact, I actually hate popcorn. No preference? Okay, cool. Figured I'd check. Yeah, I actually... So, when I was in high school, I was part of an AP statistics class that would then get me college credit for statistics. And part of our big final project is we had to develop some sort of a real world experimental project, go gather the data, like actually do the project, and then do all the statistical analysis and write the paper on it and stuff. And I was like struggling to come up with what I wanted to do. And my friend finally suggested, well, how about you get like 4 different brands of popcorn and do like a random sample and pop a few bags of each one, and then count the number of popped versus unpopped kernels, and then do your statistical analysis to figure out like what brand statistically pops the biggest proportion of kernels, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, sure, like that sounds fine, I'll do it. I was a high school senior, grade 12, like I was kind of done with it already, but I had to do this big project. So I'm like, okay, fine, that'll work. So we went to the store and bought like 8 or 10 boxes of popcorn. And I was planning to just do a random sample, grab like 3 or 4 bags of each brand, pop them, and then do my counts and stuff. Well, while I was at school, my mom decided to be helpful, and she popped every single bag of I'm talking like 36, 40 bags of popcorn. Microwave popcorn. And so we got home from school, and every window was open, all the fans were going, and the house just stank of popcorn. It was horrible. My mom was like, I'm so sorry, this was a mistake. And at the end of it, we had like literally 6 garbage bags full of popcorn. I think some of it we ended up going down to the river and feeding it to the ducks and geese, even though that isn't the best thing to do with popcorn, but there was so much of it. So yeah, ever since then, like, I hate the smell of microwave popcorn. Like, it's like an instinctive, yeah, like gag response, for me too. Like, I can't. I absolutely hate popcorn. To the point where Kara, bless her, like, she loves popcorn, but she'll wait until I'm not home, or I'm not gonna be home for an evening or something before she makes popcorn. I mean, no judgment, Randus. Some people just really like their popcorn, I guess. I am not one of them. So yeah, it's like, of course, it's become like a family in-joke now. Because my dad loves popcorn, he'll still make it. And I'm just like, no, please no. Like, I didn't like it very much before, and then having the entire house just reek of it for like 4 days just killed whatever small bit of enjoyment I might have had from it. Aw, ham for Carby. Excellent. Channel point food for baby. Om nom nom. Also, is that a Thancred emote? I can't tell. I just see small and white hair. Ooh, time to fight. Time to win. Yay, win. Excellent. I don't know how the matchups are determined. I'm just assuming that most of these are level 1 babies that we're beating up. Oh, it's Lux, okay. I'm like sitting 3 feet away from my screen, so I literally just saw like a small chibi with white hair, and that was about all I could determine. I also don't actually watch that many FF14 streamers. Mostly just Julie. Oh good, celebratory apple for baby. Excellent. Come back here. Yeah, that's fair. Usually if I'm putting a streamer on, it's for like background stuff. Julie's about the only one that I really watch. Most of the rest of them are like art streamers that I'll just kind of have on while I'm doing other stuff. This was a good idea. I'm getting a ton of cutting done. Note to self, cut while sitting down more often. Normally I do it standing up at my table, which my back doesn't like after a while. But this is not nearly as bad. Oh yeah, podcasts are also good. That's my other big go-to if I need to have something on in the background. But yeah, now that I think about it, I really don't watch that many FF14 streamers. Usually if I'm going to be watching a game, I've got a few Pokemon streamers that I follow, so I'll put one of them on. Oh man, yes, you do need to finish the Magnus Archives. How far have you gotten? Oh no! Oh, that's the worst kind of sneeze. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, full body sneezes are the worst. Or the ones where you sneeze and it's like, wow, I think I just jarred my brain loose for a second. Oh, dang. Yeah, you're getting there. Is this the bit where I tell you that we were joking that Sasha was not Sasha before the Magnus Archives came along? And then we were listening to the Magnus Archives and just kind of staring at the cat going, oh no. There are other kinds of sneezes. No. Well, yeah, probably. Kara has... So Kara's sneeze is typically tiny, and we always joke that it sounds like somebody stepped on a Pikachu when she sneezes, because it's just kind of an kind of thing. Right? Because, like, Sasha's one of those cats that she looked very, very different as a kitten than she does now. Like, very different. So we would joke that she was no longer the same cat that we brought home and that she got replaced by a Fey changeling at some point. And so we would actually call her not Sasha. And then the Magnus Archives came along. Oh, he's narrating something else? What's it called? I will definitely have to recommend that to Jade, because she loves horror games and loves the Magnus Archives. So that is, like, right up her alley. Oh, like 6 in a row? Yeah, that's the... Yeah. I tend to sneeze at least 3 or 4 times in a row if I get going. Ooh, cheesecake. Excellent. Good dinner. Yeah, no, please do. Like I said, chances are she might have already heard about it, but I haven't heard her talking about it. But yeah, that is definitely something that would interest her. She's the one that got Kara and I hooked on the Magnus Archives. And now I kind of want Swiss Chalet. Maybe I'll suggest that for dinner later this week. You doing okay, OBS? Alright. Yeah. Frames on the floor at my end too. Which I don't know. OBS is updated, my Ethernet is plugged in. Ernesty or Earnestly? But also, oh dear. I'm very sorry, Musha. Also, hopefully not all to the same person? Earnesty. Yeah, that's not a word. Have you tried explaining it to them earnestly? Yeah, exactly, Randus. I don't even know why that would be a word. But alright. But we have a word for that. It's earnestly. Huh. Alright then. Yeah, exactly. Like, I've never heard of this, and I don't even know where it would come from. Like, what is patient zero? Yeah, I guess. Oh, are they using it as like an adjective instead of an adverb? Oh, that's weird. I don't like it. Some person in the 1500s. Oh no. With all the... Oh dear. Okay, so yeah, I can see how they would think that would work, but no. Earnestness. Yeah, either earnestness or honesty. There is no in between. Also, goodness, it is 8 o'clock already. I mean, granted, I have been known to mash words together on accident at times, especially when speaking, but I don't then double down and insist that it's a real word. scooting my chair a scooch. I'm wondering, Muja, if it got used in something recently. Like if it got used in a movie or like referenced somewhere that these people are seeing but that none of us have caught somehow. Because otherwise, yeah, that's weird to just have it show up that many times in isolation. I mean, yeah, Bladness also has a point. When I was a kid, I actually had a t-shirt that I got, I think at a Ren fair somewhere, that just said, what was it? English does not borrow from other languages. English is the language that took other languages into the back alley and beat them up while rifling through their pockets for loose grammar. And it's not wrong. Why we should all just talk in numbers? Oh god, please no. That's the worst language. Well, for me. I am very bad at that language. Oh my god, Muja, I spent like 3 days this week correcting my predecessor's spreadsheets. Well, okay, not correcting, but like, we have certain like recording and tracking procedures that we do. And the interim person that had been doing them for like the last 8 months had just been copying the template, but not like updating any of the section headers or dates on them. And so I had to go through and correct like 5 spreadsheets worth of dates and just quietly cry. And now I have updated the templates so that instead of like April 20 to April 21, May 20 to May 21, they all just say April last year to April this year. And then the big headings at the top will have the date that I only have to retype once. Instead of having to go through and recorrect every single column header on the entire template every time a new month starts, or every time a new year starts. Because, like, it also has the further complication of, because I'm working at a college, our academic years are different than the calendar years. So, like, it gets a bit confusing because it'll be, like, comparing fall 20, spring 21 to fall 21, spring 22 kind of thing. And it's so much easier just to say last year versus this year instead of trying to make sure all the dates are correct. Before SJ and post SJ? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know. Luckily, I'm the person that is mostly going to be using all of these spreadsheets, so I can change them to suit me as much as I want. Other people might have to reference them occasionally, but I'm the one that actually has to, like, use them and put information into them, so I can change them as much as I want to fit my style and what works best for me. And then I realized that after I had gone through and corrected this one spreadsheet that's massive, I realized we actually house it in 2 places. There's the version that's saved to the share drive that me and my assistant have access to, and then there's the version that's saved on Teams that everybody else has access to. So I had to go in and correct the other one. I think I'm mostly going to stop using the ones on the share drive. I think it's just because my assistant doesn't quite know how to use Teams, so I think she was updating the one on the share drive out of habit. But I think I'm just going to switch over and use the one on Teams because that's the one that everybody has access to. Because, like, occasionally my manager or the chef will need to reference, like, info from these, and that way I'm not having to update them in 2 different places. So yeah, it's been fun times in production tracking spreadsheet land this week. Teams is... I like Teams better than just a share drive with files in it, because at least you can like make notes and comments on stuff more easily. But that's also probably because I've not had anything except Teams before. So I'm still kind of like, oh god, this is so novel and useful, because I don't have anything more useful to compare it to. Teams is lesser Discord. Yeah, kinda. I do like that it has just like giant file capabilities though, and the ability to just send my manager a quick chat instead of an email is kinda nice. None of the good parts of Discord. I'm tempted to send my manager a GIF at some point, just because I don't think she would know how to react to it. I will have to choose my timing carefully, though, for maximum amusement potential. Swear track GIFs? Perfect. Send the most obscure GIF. At some point, I will find a reason to send the Alizé head desking GIF. I'm gonna do it. The problem is there's not really anybody on the team that's my age. They're all like my parents' age. So most of them just would not get it, I don't think. I already use more emojis and slang than everybody else on the team combined. Yeah. Okay, I can definitely see that, Randus. Yeah, no, the Alizé head desk GIF is so good. I have very fond memories. Like, when 5.3 came out, and I was watching that cutscene for the first time, like, that is still probably my second favorite cutscene in the entire game. Just because of the character interactions and the humor. And I remember as I was watching it, and I was watching Alizé head desk, I was like, shit, the team has gotten so good at character animations. Okay, fair enough, Randus. So my very favorite cutscene in the game, Endwalker spoilers, I guess, but I think we've all got through it by now. My absolute favorite cutscene in the game at the moment is the Warrior of Light, Y'shtola, Urianger, and Thancred having dinner right before they leave Charlatan. That is like, the character interactions are so good. Like, you can really feel that they're all old friends and that the affection that they have for each other. I just love that cutscene so much. That is my absolute favorite cutscene in the game. Just from a sheer character standpoint. Oh man, yeah. I had a lady go off on me last week. So part of my job is doing certain financial things, and as far as like processing student payments and stuff. Favia Stola moment is just the bulk of 5.1. Yeah, that's totally fair. That was so good. So last week I had a parent reach out to me about a financial thing. And she was like, I'm inquiring about student for this reason. Give me a call at phone number. So I sent her an email back and was like, well, actually, for this sort of thing, we prefer to set it up over email so that it's written down for you to reference later. Carefully not saying so that we have your agreement in writing. And then she phoned me and went off on me because how dare I require something in writing? And how dare I not respect her wish to do it over a phone call? And I'm just sitting here like, lady, it's a financial agreement. Of course I want it in writing. I'm not going to take your word over the phone that you're totally going to pay this amount. Give it to me in writing. Like, I don't understand why that was such a hard concept for her. Oh my gosh, yes. That is such a good one, Rin. There's so many good moments. Like, that's part of why I love this game so much. Is just the characters, especially Shadowbringers and Endwalker. But like, definitely even before that. Like, the characters are the reason I play the game. I love the Scions. I love the characters. I love their interactions. I love how much they feel like family. That's always what gets me into fandoms is the character stuff. And it's so good in FF14. Aww. Also checklists of like, are you talking like crafting logs or like sightseeing logs or like fishing logs? All of the above? All of the above. Fair enough. I was gonna log on and play today, and then I just didn't. I ended up digging up fossils all day, but that's fine. Logs. Yeah, exactly, Rubik. Oh yeah, relics are good too. I should actually work on relics. I should do many things. Many things that I have not done. Oh, speaking of FF14, so some of you may have heard me talking about, so a friend of mine is going to be getting his top surgery at the end of this month. Thank God, finally. But we are raising money to help him pay for it. So there's a GoFundMe link that's down in my About file. I can also have a fancy chat command. I can spell his name right. There we go. So that's the GoFundMe page. But another thing that we are working on to raise money for his fund is there is a... Oh, he did get it this weekend! Oh, shit! Oh, that's awesome! Oh, amazing. Okay, cool. So, yeah, he's had his top surgery. Thank God. But yeah, so there's going to be an FF14 zine that's coming out where the proceeds will go to his fund as well. And it is a, what are we calling it? Boudoir, where it's like the male version of boudoir. So it's like the celebrating the beauty of the male form, I think is the tagline. And submissions for it and applications for it are opening this weekend. So lovely Merlin in chat has a link there. She's one of the mods. I'm going to be putting in my application for it for a shameless shippy piece, I think. But if there's any artists or writers that like FF14 that are interested in applying, applications open Monday. There we go. Applications open August 1st. So that's a thing. Shit, I'm so glad he finally got his surgery. Well, that just made my day. Ooh, guest artists, fancy. It's also, I did follow that Twitter, right? I should double check that. I think I followed the Twitter. But yeah, that's going to be fun. I think I'm going to apply to do like a short Thancred and Urianger fanfic for it because, God, those boys. Oh, I do follow it. Good. Thank you, Merlin. Merlin, the amazing mod of many things. Also, can I just say the image for the countdown, Merlin drew that, and it's fucking gorgeous. Like, holy shit, Merlin. Oh yeah, Muja, FF14, zine applications open this weekend, if that is a thing that you would be interested in. That is what I was rambling about. Wait till I see the rest of the week? Jesus, just the one you showed me is insane. Leave the dads alone, they did nothing wrong. Yes, exactly, Randus. I'm going to leave them alone together. You don't write? I thought you did. I know you edit stuff, but I thought you also wrote. Yes, also artists and cosplayers. Sorry, I hyperfixated on the writing bit because that's the only thing I can do. You know, my idea is to do a piece set during like 5.4, 5.5, after they get back from the first, but before they go to Charlayan, when Urianger and Thancred are sort of traveling around together, and they kind of have the revelation of, oh, it's just the two of us. There's no other Scions right now. There's no Rin. Oh. And then stuff. That's fair. I might take you up on that, Muja. For whatever compensation you desire. Because, God, editing is so much work. Muja. Editing is work. Value your time. Value your time and effort. It doesn't matter if you find it fun, it's still time. Also, have I mentioned that's how Kara and I met? Is that she was reading my long-running series of fanfics and kept noticing continuity errors. And messaged me out, basically out of the blue, like, hey, do you want me to, like, beta read for you? Because I keep catching all these mistakes that you don't. And then we started talking, and then we became friends, and then we became best friends, and then we got married. So... Oh god, yeah, that sucks, Barris. Essays in that sort of program are the catch-22. I mean, you could always do, like, tradesies, Muja. Be like, I'll edit your stuff if you also write me this little extra thing on my request as basically like a commission sort of thing from the writer, but the commission is your compensation for editing. Yeah, I totally understand that. I just hope none of your friends take advantage of it, because I've seen that go badly as well. I mean, do what Merlin and I do and just exchange goods and services forever. No actual money changes hands. Okay. Yeah, that's fair, Misha. Man, I had a dream the other night that would make for an amazing video game, and I have none of the skills needed to ever make it a reality. I was just thinking that, Merlin. I was like, you need to stream so that I can actually sit down and work on your cardigan. Oh man, those are the worst sometimes, Muja. I have several where it's like I set out to write a one shot and then it just kind of kept going, and now it is definitely no longer a one shot. I still intend to write for my deathcore verse at some point. It just keeps getting pushed back because I have other things to do. But I actually have plot for that one eventually. Wednesday, as in tomorrow, I will be doing my usual 6 to 8:30-ish Pokemon stream probably, but after that, no. Thursday, Jade says that we are planning to have D&D though. So what is this game? Which game? I have already forgotten things that I spoke. Oh, that one. Okay, so yeah. So I don't really know what the gameplay loop would be, or like exactly how it would lay out. But like, so it starts out that you're in a hospital and you're just like walking around in a hospital, and then you turn a corner and go through a door, and the door shuts behind you, and suddenly you're in like this oppressively small, like closet-sized room with a cradle, and in the cradle is a baby. And basically it turns out that you are playing as a woman that has just died in childbirth, and your ghost is sticking around to watch over your baby and your husband. And so you as the ghost are like watching your husband trying to grieve and also raise this infant. But like, I think it would be like a clicking puzzle sort of game, because the idea would be like, you're a ghost, so you can only interact with the world in like really small ways. So like maybe the baby starts crying and you're able to like just tap the cradle just enough to get it rocking, or you're able to like go get the dad's attention so that he notices the baby's crying. And you have to like puzzle out like, okay, in this scenario, what can I do? But then the other part of it, because I was envisioning it as more as like almost a visual novel sort of story type of thing, where you're playing as a ghost, but you keep getting these like flashes where the scene will change. So like when the father first takes the baby home from the hospital and you're tagging along as the ghost, as you walk through the front door, everything, like the house changes, all the colors brighten, the dad goes from grieving to happy and starts talking to you. And it's the idea of like, it's an alternate timeline where what if the mother had survived? So for the whole game, you're flipping back and forth between this darker world where the mother died and this brighter world where the mother lived, and you don't really know which one is real and which one is just her dreaming and wishing, or having a nightmare, depending on which one you think is real. And So the idea is that you'd have time skips at times, because it would follow the baby growing up, right? So you'd have stages, like a couple puzzle stages where she's a baby, and then it would skip forward to like when she's a toddler, and then like first day of school, and like follow her as she grows up. And the husband, like, slowly learning how to live on his own, raising his daughter. But the idea was like to not have him fall in love again or marry again, because then the very last scene of the game would be the daughter all grown up, like as an adult with her own family, talking about how her father hasn't been well lately. And then she looks out the window and sees her father and her mother, the ghost that you've been playing as the whole time, embracing. And then like it does the cinematic thing where like a leaf blows across and they're gone. So like the implication is that he's passed away and they can finally be together again. And I don't know, like in the dream and like the way I was envisioning it, it was just like a really like, it's a bittersweet game, and like very feels intensive, and like doesn't shy away from like the depiction of grief and stuff. And I think it would be really interesting and thought-provoking to play. I just have none of the skills to actually do it. But I think it would be really fascinating and like a really interesting, not like a psychological horror, but like just like an introspective game where it's like existential. Like you're exploring what it means to live and die and raise a child and grieve a loved one, kind of thing. So yeah, that was it. That was that. I had that as a dream, and I woke up, and that was just like that entire game was in my head. And like I think in the dream, like I had been making it as a game, like I was dreaming that I was the game dev for it. And I woke up and I was just like, oh man, I want to play this game. And I have no possible way of making it a reality, but I think it would be really cool. Yeah, kind of like Unpacking, where it's like, yeah, it's a story of growing up and life, both the good and the bad of it. I write the script, find an artist and a programmer. I mean, I guess. Oh, Unpacking is so good. I love it. I wished it was a little bit longer just because I wanted to keep going. It's such a satisfying gameplay loop with just enough story that it's really, really good. Oh goodness, it is already well after 8:30. Dang. But also, yes, Merlin, stream Fire Emblem tomorrow. Yes. Oh, Hades is also really good. I need to play more Hades. I have it. I have it on Switch. I haven't played it in a while. I should. She's playing the one with Crom and Robin. I've never seen it before, and neither is Kara. Like, neither of us have ever played it, so she's doing it on stream for us. Might also work as an animated short. Oh, yeah, it could. No. Yeah, Awakening. That's it. I'm like, I don't remember the subtitle, but it's got Crom and Robin. Yeah, like we're only, we're not too far into it, but I'm really liking what I've seen so far. We're just at the bit, I'm trying to remember, I was half asleep the last time she streamed. We got through the bit where Marth saved Crom's life, and then a little bit further than that. Well, apparently she'll be streaming it tomorrow night after my Pokemon stream. So hopefully then. Also, yes, Randus, I am cheating on you with other DMs, but it's Jade, so you don't really get to say she was here first. I mean, Merlin tends to stream various days. It's not always a Wednesday, Randus, so you might be able to catch future ones. You should upload the VODs to YouTube. I should catch up on uploading my VODs to YouTube. It just takes so long. My poor little laptop struggles with rendering video. I mean, I've just been using a free one. It works pretty well. I mean, for all I need it to do, which is basic cut and paste. I can't speak for any of the fancier features on it, but it works. Oh, you mean someone, not software. Fair enough. I mean, if I had a better computer, I would offer, but yeah. Maybe once I get a better computer. Because I like editing videos. I quite like it. I just don't have the software and the setup to be able to do it well. Yeah, once I get a better computer, I will see about that. Because my goal is to try to have enough saved up so that by either Black Friday or Boxing Day, I'll be able to get a decent PC on a decent sale, hopefully. That's my stated goal anyway. Art. Yes. draw my Warrior of Light making out with Graha. Or just like endless streams of Farron and auto art. I would also accept that. Also, not gonna lie, Merlin, when I was reading the stats for the Caretaker Warlock, I had a tiny thought where I was like, well, I'm gonna multi-class Farron again. Can you even imagine? He just comes home with like this little baby dragon and he's like, Otto, I guess I have magic now. It would be ridiculous. Okay, well, it is 8:45. So I have plenty still to cut, but I've got a whole ton done, so we're dads! Yeah, exactly, but it's like a baby dragon. Oh yeah, start with an egg. This is, so the character I'm talking about, Varys, is a fighter barbarian who is like as magical as a rock. So giving him a baby magical creature and just being like, here, you have magic now, would be hilarious. Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna call it before I'm here all night. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. I will definitely do more of this again. Like I said, I'll try to do some more crafty streams on Tuesdays. Don't trust Black Friday PCs. They tend to be made with subpar components. Ah. Start of school year deals instead. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you, Randus. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I'll see what I can do. I've also been looking at like refurb ones on like Best Buy's website. Because I don't need like a top of the line computer. I just need one that's, you know, not a laptop. Yeah, so I will be back tomorrow night with Pokemon. No stream on Sunday. I will be out of town for the weekend. But then after that, I'll be back next Tuesday with potentially some more of this, possibly some more hamsters, who knows. Is there anyone to raid? There's ducks. We can go watch ducks. Everyone have a good night, take care, sleep well, have a good rest of the week.